Today, I wanted to talk to you about St. Francis's teaching about indifference. In our culture and in our normal English speaking, when we say the word indifferent, we mean somebody who doesn't care. I just don't care. If I'm indifferent about it, it's almost got a negative connotation to it. We say something like, do you think that this political party, the Democrats or the Republicans, should be in office? And you might say, I'm indifferent. I just don't care. And the negativity of that is almost like it doesn't matter, or that I am completely removed from this issue, whatever it might be. Now, we're not talking politics today. We're talking about spirituality. When it comes to spirituality, there is a holy indifference. This is the way holy indifference works. It is not the same as apathy. Apathy is the common use of the word. Apathy means I don't care. It just doesn't matter. Who cares? And this is perhaps our greatest enemy in spiritual life. When God speaks to us, I should care. When there's an opportunity to worship, Lord, I should care. When people are suffering, when people need help, I should care. When people are ignorant about the ways of the world, I should care. But there's a whole lot of people who just go, I don't care. I don't care. I think there's a God. I think Jesus is God. I think God has a plan for us all, but I do nothing about it. I mean, I just couldn't care less. That's called apathy. Holy indifference is separate from that. Holy indifference is when I'm asking God, what would you prefer? Which direction should we go? We need to make a decision. Do we go A or B? Imagine in your group of Hope's Garden, you decide you're going to read a book together. Should we read the book of one of the saints, Faustina, for instance? Or should we go back to reading one of the commentaries on the Song of Songs? Holy indifference means it doesn't really matter which one. They're both good. They're both good. But I'm asking you, Lord, which would you prefer? But what I'm trying to do is not to have a preference, or at least not let my preference dictate the decision. So imagine if we talked and prayed as a group, and everybody seems to be leaning toward, feeling in their prayer that we should do the commentary on the Song of Songs. But you were really hoping we were going to do Faustina. Holy indifference means it doesn't really matter. Either way is good. Either way is good. So as opposed to saying it doesn't matter, both are bad, or I just don't care, I do care. But I'm grateful that we get to choose among equals, among two goods. And there might be reasonings why you want to do one over the other. You're welcome to offer those reasonings to the Lord in prayer, offer these readings to the people in your group, but ultimately the choice has to be a little bit freer than that. We don't have a personal agenda that I'm trying to convince everyone of. There's another way to look at holy indifference. Sometimes we're asking for things to happen in the future. And we're saying to the Lord, you know, Lord, I'm really hoping that I get this job. So I'm praying that after this interview I just did, if it be your will that I get this job. But within that prayer, there's also this understanding, if it's not your will, then I don't get the job. Okay? So now I have to have a little bit of holy indifference to say, whether I get the job or I don't get the job, that is secondary to I want to do God's will. So I actually have to be free from that. I don't say, if I don't get the job, God has abandoned me. I don't say, if I don't get the job, somehow I haven't found favor with God. If I don't get the job, maybe I didn't do the right prayers. These are all control mechanisms. Once we hand it over to God, don't take it back. We say, God, if it's your holy will, please let me have this job. But if it's not your holy will, give me the freedom to let it go. Because my primary is to do your will, not to have whatever I think is important, like a job. Primary, I absolutely give to you primacy, Lord. What you choose, I accept. I have my preference, but my preference is secondary to I really want to do what you want me to do. Now, I'm going to give you a really powerful example of this. My mother, when I told her that I wanted to be a priest, burst into tears of joy. She was really excited for me and a little bit nervous, a little bit afraid. Certainly, we know that people have left the priesthood or things like that end up on the wrong path of life. But she had this peace that, you know what, God's going to take care of my son. And I really trust that you, Michael, are a very good person to pray and to follow the will of God. So even if it ends up being difficult, if it's hard, I know, Michael, that you'll do what God asks you to do. So she gave me 100% support. Jump forward, I finish the seminary, I get ordained, and I have to sit her down the one day, and I said, Mom, remember how you got really nervous when I told you that I was going to be a priest? And she got really concerned and said, yeah. And I said, Mom, remember how you kind of just said God's will be done, and you had the freedom to say, it's okay, you make this decision, and I know that God's working through you, and I trust that God's going to walk with you as long as you stay open to it. She says, yeah. He said, I think God's calling me to be a missionary and to move to the Central American country with the highest violence in the world that is not currently at war. And my mom said to me, Michael, I gave you to God. I'm not taking you back. You go where he leads you. That's holy indifference. Does my mom have a preference? I'd like to believe that my mom wants me to stick around. As a matter of fact, the parish I was at when I had that conversation was walking distance from my parents' house. And here I am saying I'm going to go very, very far away, put my life at danger, and do one of the most difficult jobs there is. And she had the freedom not to insist upon what she wants. Her preference did not come first. In fact, she was very careful not to influence my decision. She backed up and said, God's will be done. That is holy indifference. The freedom to say, my preferences are secondary. God is primary. And if we can live that, it really takes away a lot of the stress in our lives. It really does. Because a lot of the stress in our lives is really about trying to control things so that what we want comes to be. But when we say, God, this is yours, when we hand over our lives and our decisions to our Lord Jesus, you can't take it back. You got to resist that temptation and say, Lord, I trust you. It can be this, or it can be that. I have my preference, but thy will be done.